The 2024 AFL Finals Series is officially here. 8 teams, 9 games, one grand final winner, and hoping to beat them all. Finals are finally here. We have been waiting for epic 24-round home and away season. It's come to an end. And my Hawks are in elimination final on the Friday night against the Dogs. That'll be the second game we cover. Probably the best game of the finals as well. And yeah, I'm really scared. Yeah, like that. That's what I'll be like on Friday night whenever the Dogs get a goal. I'll be shitting myself. But we're in the video on the first game on the Thursday night down in Adelaide. It is going to be a cracking game. Port versus the Cats, two top four sides. Teams who have been here before in this moment. The Power and the Cats always playing qualifying finals. You almost feel every single time the Power have been in the finals. The last 4 years, you think that versus the Cats. But this game will be really interesting. I think it will be very close. I know the Cats, people are saying the Cats might just get blown out of the water, but I still don't think that's true. I think the Cats are a team that they got finals experience. They've been experiencing the Power, which may lead into their favour. But this being at Adelaide Oval, Power and are in better form. The Cats haven't been able to beat the big sides. We all know they smashed the Eagles by 93 points, but what does that prove? What does that prove? It's the Eagles. They checked out the year. If Jeremy Cameron can have a game like he had last week, just like a sample of it, keep like 5 goals, 20 touches, then I reckon the Cats are a very, very, very good shot to win this game. Heck, they probably are going to win this game because it's that kind of numbers. And Stengel to kick 3 as well. Hawkins, will he play? I don't think he will, but you never know. I still think, I've got to go through these games pretty quickly. The Power are the better team. The Power are the better team. They're in better form. Without Houston, it might be a bit of a challenge. Maybe their defense might be a little bit less talented. Maybe Radicaliego's defense if Houston comes back. But you never know. But I still think the Power will get the job done over the Cats by 21 points. I think it'll be a pretty close game. But the Power will just start to edge away in some quarters. And they'll win this game by 21 points. And the next game, as I said before, the Hawks and the Dogs. The only game down the MCG, I think, what's it called? The AFL is very glad this game's at the MCG because it's probably the best game of the week as well. Well, the most anticipated game of the week because the two informed sides of the comp, the Hawks and the Hawks and the Dogs, arguably have been playing the best form for the last 3 months eagerly. The Hawks probably played the best form in the last 3 months. They've only dropped 3 games in their past 13. The Doggies, they're in some really good form. They can be a dangerous team. This game could really be 50-50. I'm a Hawks fan, so I'm probably leaning towards the Hawks more. But something that scares me is their foreline. Hagen, we know Norton. If he can get fully fit again, he hasn't been fit for a little bit, but he's a very good player. Darcy, he's a gun. Waitman's a good player when he gets in there. And we also got the Bont who can creep up forward. You got Treloar's a gun. He might not play. There's still some question marks around that. Then you've got some more great players, Ed Richards, Tom Liberatore. But the Hawks' small forwards is going to be a challenge for the Dogs as well. You've got Watson, you've got Moore, you've got Ginnivan, you've got McDonald, you've got Newcomb, and Day comes back. It's going to be hard. You've got Walper, you've got Nash, you've got McKenzie, you got Weddle off that back line, you got Sicily, you got Scrimshaw. It's a very, very, it's more of a speed game. It's going to be a fast-paced game. I could see it go either way. I reckon it could be a game where it goes over 100 points. Both teams score over 100 points. That's my big call. Hawks are great at scoring 100 points, but they're also the best defense in the league. So if they can just put their really good defense out and they can put their really good offense out, I see the Hawks win this game by a little bit. I think the Hawks will win this game by 2 goals in a very nice game. It will be a close game for a lot, but then the Hawks will just start to creep away in the fourth quarter and just get themselves to a semi-final. The third game is probably the game that's the least talked about. It is the Lions and the Blues. The Blues, you thought they would have missed finals last week after the disaster that happened, but they snuck in. They finished 8th. Do they deserve to be there? No. But did Freo really? Probably not if they just know because they lost. But to be fair, the team that probably deserves it out from 8th to 9th is Collingwood. They probably deserve it more than those two teams, but always had a little bad bump, and then they've been brilliant since then. If they won the Sydney game, they're in the finals as well, Collingwood. So Yeah, it's just a weird turnaround for teams. Collingwood probably should be in the 8. Probably should be in the 8. Just percentages let them down after some smashings the park. But yeah, I think the Lions, they're still going to have some players. Carlton's still going to have injuries. I know they're going to get people back. Kerno, Mackay, I'm expecting them to come back next week. Chera might come back next week. But this is just another game. I just think it could be an absolute belting. The Lions need to get back in some good form. They won last week. They win this game. They're going to be a dangerous, dangerous team for the next couple of weeks. I have the Lions win this game by 5 goals. My big call is that Zach Bailey scores 4 or more goals. He'll have an amazing game. I reckon he could have a good final series. He can be really sneaky player. The next game, the Battle of the Bridge. These teams have versed off in a lot of finals together. It's like the 4th or 3rd time these teams have versed each other in a final. I'm not quite sure, but I am looking forward to this final. I'm looking forward to this final a lot. I think it could be probably the final that could go either way as well as the Hawks one. I think some other games, the Hawks and the Sydney games, these are 50-50 games. The Giants are in great form. We know they dropped one last week, but honestly, they locked in top 4, and maybe they want to finish 4th because then they can stay in Sydney. They don't have to travel. It might actually have been a very smart Frank Manning Kingsley. Then they probably won't have to verse Hawthorn. They might not have to verse Hawthorn in the semi. They wouldn't have to verse Hawthorn in the semi-final if they were to lose. They're probably a harder opponent than the Lions at the moment. You never know. So because they're in better form than the Lions, but you never know, the Lions can turn around. But yes, smart move, think around Kinsey. But I think the Swans, they're going to get some players back. Papley, I think, will come back. McInerney will come back. The Swans will be their best self once again. I have the Swans winning. I can't not doubt the Swans. I still think they'll be a force. I think they'll get back their form. It will be a very close game. My big call is that Joel Marty kicks 5 more goals. I think he's got it definitely in him. In a big final, he's going to have actually ball out like he did in the Crows game. Hasn't really been able to do that for the rest of the year. But I reckon the Swans by 12 points. I think it'll be another by 5 points. It'll be a really good game. But the Swans will just show their class in the last quarter, just nailing a very, very big win. Probably the hardest win you can get in the finals. The semi-finals, big games, coming on only 5 to go. The first semi-final will be the Hawks and the Cats on Friday night. This is a massive game. 2 rival clubs haven't been versing in finals for much more. But we're back, and you expect there will be over 90k here. Maybe even 100k, probably not 100k. But there'll be over 90k here. You expect 2 big Victorian clubs, 2 rival clubs. These teams hate each other. They've had the Kenny Curse, they've had the 08 Premiership, the 89. They've been in plenty of premierships, grand finals together, and finals over the years, and memorable moments. The Tom Hawkins, the Isaac Smith, and plenty more. The Jimmy Bartell kick, and a lot more. The Sean Burgoyne moment in 2013. This game's going to really, really test me. I think the Hawks, this will be a massive game for the Hawks. We just been knocked over the Dogs, if my correct tips go correct. We just knocked over the Dogs. But this opponent will be harder. We're not good against the Cats. We haven't beaten the Cats since 2022, which we've lost the last 3 games against the Cats, and they've all been smashings as well. I mean, last year was 84 smashing. This year was a 36, pretty big win for the Cats, and another one was 50, but winning the Skipper. Being at the MCG and we're in better form, I expect we're going to put a really good performance out the park. Will it be harder than the Dogs game? It will be probably a little less pace, but if we can get our pace, we get our ball movement really well. Our midfield should dominate. If we win, Will Day probably will play this game. I have no doubt that we'll win this game. I reckon the Hawks will book themselves into a semi-final go versus Sydney, and the Hawks will win by 8 points, booking themselves into a prelim final. No one would have thought that after the 9-5 star. And my big call is Will Day, if he returns, will collect 30 more disposals. 30 disposals and a goal. He will probably win the game for the Hawks and stake himself as a massive, big-time player. The next game, the Giants and the Lions. This game really intrigued me. If the Lions win next week by a lot, they'll have some momentum building. And then when the Lions had momentum, they were the strongest team in the competition. And if they get momentum, they're the best team in the competition again. I don't think you can stop the Lions. They finished outside the top 4, and you have to verse the Giants. Will it be the Giants and the Cats going straight sets? It's a real possibility. Will this happen? I don't want it to happen for the Giants' sake, but it could definitely happen. I think the Lions, if they get back to their form, Lachie Neale could be really important. And you know what? The Giants usually win finals, but they've got to get they've got a hard road to get to a grand final if they want it. They've got to versus Swans, they've got to versus the Lions you expect, and then they've got to versus Port Adelaide you expect, or the Cats. That is a hard road to finals. And I just think the Giants have got the team that they should win this game. It's down in the Giants Stadium. I don't know if the Lions have played there, like, ever. I don't remember the last time the Lions have played there. If they this year, then tell me I'm wrong. But this game just proves me that the Giants need a win. And I reckon they will. They've got premiership credentials written all over them. I think the Lions, after losing that game against Collingwood, cost them a top 4 spot and will cost them a premiership. I think the Giants win by 5 points 2 points in an absolute thriller. And my big call is Brent Daniels kicks a goal after the siren to win the game. What a semi-final round we have. And our prelim finals. The last Victorian club in the prelim final is the Hawks. And that will be the first final, I think. I'm pretty sure it probably will be the first final that is played. The Hawks, as we know, they just won a game against, as I think the Hawks beat the Cats. And the Swans had a 2-week break. Could the break stuff the Swans up? It really could. I mean, the Hawks are flying. I would back the Hawks in to beat the Swans. I would do anything. If I walk into this game, I'd probably have my least amount of confidence that I would for any other game. But, this could be a dog story. If the Dogs make it, I think the winner of the Hawks-Dogs game will move to the prelim final. That's my gut feel. I think the Dogs win, they'll get to a prelim final. The Hawks win, they'll get to a prelim final. That's my gut feel. I think if the Dogs win, they'll have a better chance to get to a prelim. Because I reckon they're not as massive hoodooing as the Cats. But that's my gut feel. I just feel as though the Hawks might stumble a little bit. But I still think whoever wins that game will go to a prelim final. So that's why I think the Hawks, they win, they go to a prelim final. But I think this is the moment when the Hawks' final destiny hangs up in their boots. The Swans have got more experience. And the Hawks are probably still 1 to 2 more years away from a real grand final. Maybe, I think next year they should be competing for one. Because we're getting Tom Barrass and Josh Battle, who's just announced that he's going to come to Hawthorn. And Barrass, obviously, only 48 hours ago announced it. This team should be a finals team next year as well. So, I think if we lose in prelim final, I will clap. I will be so happy. I don't even care. If we lose this week, yeah, I'll be angry. I'll be mad. But I don't really care as well because we had a great year. So, I'm going to tip the Swans by 18 points. They were a pretty good game. It'll be a very nice prelim final if this would happen. But I think the Swans by 13 points. And my big call is that the Hawks lead for more of the game. But the Hawks lead at three-quarter time. But the Swans just pick up the win. The next game, the Giants and Port Adelaide. Remember this game last year? Yeah, the Giants beat Port Adelaide in a semi-final. But this game, the Giants have to play every week. The power of a refresh button. They're still at Adelaide Oval. The Giants beat them there last year. I don't think they played them there this year. They might have played in Martica. Surely, Port have to win this game. They've got to make a premiership. And honestly, if they lose to the Cats, that's just so bad. Because then they can't win a premiership. They've got to win the Cats. This is their big moment. Can they win a premiership? And this is my moment to shine. Can the power go through? And I reckon they will. I know the Giants. I think the Giants are a bit of a hard run here. They're probably the best team going in the finals at the moment, with the Hawks as well and the Dogs. These are the most free-informed teams. But they all bow out before the premiership. The Giants and the Hawks both bow out before the premiership. I think Power win by 1 singular point. And that is Power. The Power are leading by 35 points midway through the third quarter. But nearly choke, but hold on by a point. That's my big call. And the grand final. What a weird grand final this will be. Swans and the Power. Well, I'd love this grand final. I think it'd be really, really good. 2 absolute staple midfields. 2 forward lines that are a bit mediocre. And 2 pretty good defences. It's a pretty even battle. Who's got the better forward line? I think that'll come down to that. I think Port have a better forward line, but I do like their small to Sydney, so maybe Sydney have a better forward line because Heaney can go in there as well. Sydney have a better midfield. I think Port Adelaide, I think Heaney, Warner, Golden, Parker can go in there as well. Our players can go in there. I think they've got a better midfield. So I'm going to tip Sydney by 7 points in the grand final. My big call is Sydney come back from a 29-point deficit at halftime to win the game. Thank you guys for watching, and see ya.